Hi everyone, my name is Prashant Divisar. Just a week ago, I posted a video saying 10 reasons why you shouldn't leave Sri Lanka. And it was meant for people in my network, especially young people that I mentor and serve through the organizations that I'm part of. But obviously it was in a public platform and it's got shared and many people have commented. So I thought I should do a video on responding to some of the comments. First of all, I want to thank all of you who are engaging in this conversation, for taking the time to respond and comment and share. But I really wanted to address some of the questions and concerns that have come through it. And I want to thank you for being part of that engagement and helping me refine my own thinking and also see different perspectives. So thank you for sharing. The first main theme that I heard from the comments section for the previous video is I had mentioned that we can be a first-class citizen in our own nation. Why would we go and be a second or a third-class citizen elsewhere? Now, as somebody who's committed my life for the work of youth leadership, reconciliation, justice and equality in Sri Lanka for the last 15 years, I am fully aware of the fact that based on your ethnicity and religion and maybe your socioeconomic standing, you may feel like a second-class citizen already in Sri Lanka for very justifiable reasons. In fact, we did a survey with Sri Lankans, especially belonging to numerically minority groups. Overwhelming majority, nearly 85% said that they do feel like a second-class citizen. But my point here is that regardless of the injustices that we have here, this is your birthright to be a first-class Sri Lankan. You deserve to be treated accordingly, and there are many from every ethnicity and religion who believe in the equal privileges and rights of all Sri Lankans. And we can build alliance to create that here. It is feasible, it is your birthright, and we can work towards it. Yes, there are injustices, and yes, we will continue to speak out together. I myself don't belong to the ethnic religious majority. I'm a minority ethnically and religiously. And I have experienced very little discrimination compared to some of our other numerically minority groups who have experienced great discrimination. But together we can stand and change that reality. The question is, do you know that it's guaranteed for you that when you go elsewhere that you will be treated as a first-class citizen? That is not your birthright, and you will not have that guarantee. But here we can work towards make that a reality. The second comment or the theme that came consistently was that it seemed that shaming doesn't work to make people do the right thing or to help them make a different decision. Now, what I'd like to say is this video was very clearly indicated towards young people who are considering leaving the country now. A new exodus of Sri Lankans joining the 3 million that already left. And I very clearly said that I understand during the midst of a civil war and the violence and the immediate aftermath, people leaving at that era was understood. But now after 3 million have left, as Sri Lanka is in a critical juncture and there are young people who are considering the decision now, I think that was who I was targeting for and with 10 reasons as to why they shouldn't leave. Now here's an important point. You cannot shame somebody who's still making a decision about things. They can weigh in the pros and the cons and intelligently think about it, and after weighing all of these things, they can make the decisions they want. It's a free country, it's a free world. If they have legal admittance to any country, by all means. But it's important for young people right now to weigh the pros and cons, and sometimes they're overwhelmed by this notion of saying we need to leave, that they haven't taken the time to think why not. And that was the audience. But interestingly, all the comments that came in with a certain amount of frustration and anger and saying that there was shaming, well, everyone who's already left the country, and that was not the target audience. Another consistent comment that came through is, I can't live in this country because governments are incompetent, they are corrupt, they are racist, therefore I leave. This country does not belong to any party, any politician, or any family. We the people in this democracy have elected. You may say, I never voted for the wrong side. Well, we still are part of this democracy. And we have the right to change this country. And you can say, well, the people vote from their foot. They don't think, they are intelligent. Therefore, we always end up with corrupt, incompetent leaders. Well, we as citizens can persuade, can speak to the masses, can ensure that we break away from our own socioeconomic community, our own safe zones, and start engaging the broader masses so that we can make better collective decisions. We have a responsibility. This is not a dictatorship. We can work and we need to work at it. And if governments have failed, if we the people have voted, we have failed too. So how do we correct that? this country does not belong to a political family. It doesn't belong to a political party. This is my country. This is your country. So rather than abdicate my responsibility just because these guys have become so corrupt, let's stay and fight. For the longest time, we as Sri Lankans, we have been hoping for a political savior. Some Lee Kuan Yew or a Mandela or a Gandhi who would emerge from this country and make it right. So we vote and we're hoping against hope that they will be the one. We have been disappointed time and time again. So I need to tell you, if we are going to see that change, it's not because this one charismatic figure comes and a benevolent dictator shows up and corrects things. It's because we the people need to do things collectively and start transforming this country. Let's stop putting our hope and our entire frustration on them and say, how can we do something differently? How can we build that generation? So once again, bringing my attention to my original audience. To all of those who have called me and said, Prashant Ayya, Prashant Anna, I really want to leave, or I'm frustrated. I really don't know what to do. I hope the 10 reasons that I shared as to why you shouldn't leave helps you in your decision. At the end of it, we've always encouraged critical thinking. Think for yourself. Don't be influenced by the herd thinking. I hope this will help you to weigh in the pros and cons and make that right decision. We need you. We have to build this country. And for many of us, we're in our 30s and mid-30s, the time is now. We have to take the next 2-3 decades of our life and give it everything we have. When we're in our 60s, it will be too late for us to start. So we start now. You can't undo 74 years of incompetent, corrupt political leadership and inactive citizenship and all the failures of all of us as a country and undo it overnight. We have to change, I have to change, collectively as a generation we have to change and start transforming our country. So join that journey now and let's make sure that we transform this country. Thank you and continue to watch. Let's have more conversations. The next video will focus, especially targeting a singular speaking audience who are also considering this new exodus. මීළඟට නව වීඩියෝ පටේ විශේෂයෙන්ම රට හැර යන්නට තීරණය කරන තරුණ තරුණියන් සඳහා ඔවුන් ඒ තීරණය ගන්න අවස්ථාවේදී සැලකිය යුතු කාරණා ස්වල්පයක් ඔබ සමග බෙදා ගන්නව බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ වීඩියෝයේ තේමාව සැලෙන්න එපා, ගැටෙන්න එපා, අවස්ථාවාදී, ජාතිවාදී, දේශපාලනඥයන්ට රැවටෙන්න එපා, රට පනින්න එපා. කියන නව තේමාව යටතේ විශේෂ වීඩියෝවක් ලබන සතියේ වෙද්දී එළි දක්වන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. The second video I'm hoping to put out is especially for those of you who say, yes, I'm not leaving, I'm staying here. But then now what? Sharing 5 ways that we can proactively engage to help transform Sri Lanka. The third video coming up is for our friends and even family members who are in the diaspora, who are considering, how can I proactively engage? So in that video, it'll talk about 5 reasons as to why you should come back and engage, or at the very least 5 ways that you could proactively engage in order to transform Sri Lanka. The video after that is I have the privilege of collecting amazing sound bites and voice clips from outstanding Sri Lankan role models who have decided to stay here, who have done extraordinary things with their lives and contributed greatly to the Sri Lankan fabric. And also a generation of Sri Lankans who belong to my age and even older who have said, we will stay here, and reasons as to why they're staying here and how they are contributing to transform our nation's legacy. And finally, I would also be sharing a video on organizations and individuals and initiatives that are happening in Sri Lanka right now that are positively and proactively looking at ways to transform the trends that we have inherited.